Merry Christmas. I am so happy today. I have with me full self-driving beta 10.8 or version 11 software user interface. I am really happy to have this new software. It has waypoints, which is going to be really good for the driving. It also has some great features as well, where you can see the full screen. I'll show you that in action today. I'm just really happy to be able to get out here. My wife, she actually got me a plaid shirt from Tesla. I am so happy, and I am loving it so far. Very high quality, by the way. Come join me on this drive. Let's have fun. Okay, let's see how this goes. So, we have got some nav points entered in here, and we're going to see how this route goes. I'm not sure if it's going to end up being great or horrible or whatnot. I do kind of want to start off here. So let's just kick this off with some parking lot driving. This is going to be a little tough for autopilot to do, but we're going to find out, because it basically has to start off with a U-turn. And it's handling that surprisingly well. I'm pretty sure if there were cars over here, it would avoid these. On the left here. And where's it going now? Now it's gonna run over these branches. Oh, and look at that. I nudged it there just because I have some cars coming up fast behind me. It certainly got going in a hurry. Today we are running 10.8. I am on average setting mode. I will let you know when I nudge the car forward. That is, I give it a little bit of gas to get it moving. One of the cool features in the new UI is I can kind of hide this navigation here a little bit and show you way more of what is happening in the world around us in the UI. It still details basically what's coming up ahead of us. I will try and I always have my hands on the wheel to make sure that nothing funny happens. And I've been using this software for a while now, so I have a good idea when things are about to fail. Which is one of the key points, I think, with full self-driving software. So I have kind of a protected right here. If it doesn't get going here, it's going to be an unprotected right here. I'm going to disengage. I'm going to give it a nudge here to get going. That was kind of an unfortunate start here. I really felt like that could have been handled better by the car. If it had just gone, it would have been better. But that first ride out of the parking lot, that was pretty spot on. I was a little concerned about it, that I was going to have some issues, but no, it was very good, all in all. So they've changed the user interface a little bit. It used to be that this was kind of a dotted line to show you where it was trying to go, but now it's more just a straight chalk line. And now it also has this blind spot indicator, so it shows you when it turns on the blinker, it will actually show you what's happening in the blind spot. I really do like this, that it has this now. It's really useful to make sure that nothing is going to be in the way when I take a turn. And does this also when full self-driving is on. Taking a quick turn here. Okay, good turn. Good job gaining the left-hand lane. A little bit more than I had before. Oh, so now it's taking a right here. It's a little tough because I haven't navigated this location before, so I'm trying to remember where this is at. This is still in the mode that I am disliking, where I wish it would go just a little bit slower in neighborhoods. I always have to turn it down to 20 from 25, because it always wants to go 25 in neighborhoods. Oh, cul-de-sac, and I will take over. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. This is pretty slick. Okay, there's nobody over there. Come on, let's go. Let's get going. One thing you will notice is that I feel like the wiper blade doesn't hit as much as it should, so I have to hit frequently. And for whatever reason, it doesn't handle these like neighborhood T's very well. I don't know if this is just my car or what, but it's like, what am I supposed to do in this neighborhood? You know. But other than that, it is quite adept. And it really slammed on the brake there. It's clear here. Oh, where's it going? It's totally went the wrong way. Where is it going? Where are you going, full self-driving? You are going the wrong direction. Okay. It's going not where the navigation's saying to go at all. Okay, let's see if it corrects itself. I'm hoping it does. Here. Okay. Whoa, it's really going to the wrong spot. I don't know, where's it going? Is it... Okay, should be going left here. So I'm not sure why it's going right. It's showing that it's going there. I don't know, it just happened there. That was weird. But, yeah. It started to go, it seemed like it started to go back to my first navigation point. So I'm not sure if that was a, it was certainly more of a routing thing than something else. Okay, handled that pretty well. I might have slowed down just a touch more. What are you doing? I'm gonna nudge it forward here. It's totally stopped. I can go right on red. It's just to make sure that people weren't weirded out by what our car was doing here. Seems like I had to nudge it through, so it's tough. It does handle the dynamics of a traffic circle really, really well though. People ask me what my complaints about my Tesla are. The size of the cup holders is one that I dislike. I like to have these 13-ounce drinks, and they just kind of slosh around in the cup holders a lot. I'm kind of okay, I have to hit the accelerator just to get to go into here. Once it's in, it handles it great. Okay, so there's nobody behind me on this one now. I will go ahead and kind of wait. Oh, this person's got a Tesla. Oh, here it goes, and it's going. So it treats it like a stop sign, right? I didn't intervene there at all. It basically came to a stop and then proceeded. Pretty good. Start the next one. Once again, I don't have anyone behind me, so we will just let it do as it does. That's probably one of the better stops. but then it kind of paused with its nose slightly in the lane. And that was not too great because it basically changed lanes there at the very end, and I would have preferred that it hadn't done that. But there weren't any cars around, so I'm not like concerned about that either. Okay, I should be leaving it in the wider view. I keep forgetting to switch it back. I need to wait here for these people. See, this is perfect, right? It didn't wait very long for the car that just passed it to take that turn. Going from point to point is a little bit more challenging than I thought it would be. I think though I messed it up because I had a second C in here. Oh, okay, so I can just remove C, and then now we are going to D2. Okay, we will take that route. Let's go ahead and engage. The only thing that is a little bit tougher here is that it's a lot harder to see if the autopilot is on because the blue steering wheel is tiny. But I think as things get kind of more I think actually I want to see more of the navigation just to make sure it's going the right way. Here, where are you going? Come on. Come on. FSD Beta, don't fail me now. So I've seen a video. So recently I saw a video where a YouTuber postulated that is Tesla killing people by releasing FSD Beta. And I think that's an awfully bold claim to make, considering there isn't really any proof as of yet that the current feature set has caused any fatalities of any sort. I think that some people think in the AI and self-driving group, right? And I'm no expert on this, right? I don't have a PhD in full self-driving. I don't have a PhD in neural nets. But what I do have is a degree in mechanical engineering. I have 10 years experience in automotive testing, both kind of in simulation as well as in the real world. And I have a lot of experience with kind of recognizing how reality differs so much from simulation, and even internal testing, and even some field testing done by your own drivers. And I think that my take on the full self-driving system is that it is a really tough nut to crack. And with the strategy that Tesla is using, you need to have tons of real-world data, and you have to have a bunch of really good examples to show your system to train it with. There are a bunch of companies out there that call themselves full self-driving, and basically what they're providing is they are providing what is called an AGV, and that is an autonomous guided vehicle. And these vehicles exist in factories all over the world, where the vehicle can sense everything around it because it has a whole bunch of sensors around it. Oh, coming up on a speed bump here. Slow down, slow down. Okay, it slowed down. Okay, we can go slower than this. We're like right next to a school, even though it's not going on. So an AGV, right? It's got a whole bunch of sensors. It's on a platform. They're used in factories all over the place to take parts and materials to the line. A lot of times they're guided by wire, like a electrical wire in the concrete to guide it. But in this case, a lot of these are using GPS systems instead of that, and then they're using a lot of sensors around the vehicle, and it's traveling at a low speed, 25 miles per hour, right? That's relatively easy to maintain and control, but the problem is that it's not necessarily safer, right? There are still many corner cases out in the real world that these systems are not taking into account. Okay, so this is fairly successful. Pretty much a... Oh, what are you doing? Just trying to figure out how to enter this cul-de-sac here. Okay, and here we are. And my take on the whole thing is that no amount of simulation and no amount of testing on a test track is ever going to be enough data to actually make a system that's truly full self-driving. And Tesla is trying to, they are trying to eat the whole elephant, right? They're trying to go to level 5, but they're doing it one step at a time, and they're trying to get through each little point here. And in order to do that, they have to give the system to people out in the real world to see how it functions. And I have to say, you know, they're eating the elephant one bite at a time, and they're doing a really good job at it. And yes, there are some risks. They are calculated risks. But I think if you look at the risks of slowing down these types of development, see, it should probably get over here, but it didn't. So that should be one that they need to train it on, right? Is make sure that somebody has a car door open. just pull across the barrier a little bit. But these risks need to be taken, right? And we need to keep these in mind for the future, right? Because here's a good example, right? They had, in one of their updates, they said they added 165,000 clips, video clips of from the fleet, right? Now let's say Tesla, geez, that was going a little bit faster than I preferred. So Tesla, let's say they had 1,000 test drivers, right? That means that each test driver would need to get 165 good, high quality edge case videos to improve the performance of the system. And that's a really tough thing to do, to ask 1,000 people. Now, currently they have about 12,000 drivers, maybe a bit more. Now some are within Tesla's group, and some are, and many are the beta testers now, and they probably have 20,000 people now running the beta. Okay, so that was no involvement from me, so a little bit sketchy, but you get used to what beta does. So 165,000, right? You know, that's a lot easier to get from a whole fleet of people driving. And the other challenge is that if Tesla were to hire people, right, they would have to hire them across the US. They'd have to manage all these people. They'd have to make sure that those people are collecting the right data. And I just don't think it's very practical to have that amount of structure, and it would be very difficult to gather all that data. And in this video, they basically postulated that because there was no feedback from the engineers to tell the testers what kind of edge cases to look for to try and fix, that wasn't a true testing regime, right? And I think that's the wrong way to look at this, because in this case, the system has a finite number of clips it can hold to train the system. So you can't always train for just like one instance to try and figure out that thing to be fixed. At some point they will do that, where they are trying to just nail down one super specific edge case, and they will try and find examples of that edge case. But in this case, you know, we're still trying to get the training wheels on here really well. Okay, so we've got a blinking yellow. I'm not sure how it's going to treat a blinking yellow. It's going to, there's a lot of oncoming traffic here. Recognizes it as a blinking yellow. It's going, it's going, it's going. Go faster. And it did it perfectly. That was darn near perfect. Oh, and there's some markings on here. And let's see if it goes the right way here. Oh, this is brilliant. So this is exactly where I kind of navigated it to. And it handled that like a champ. I'm trying to think here. I think that was no disengagements. Yeah, let's try out auto park here real quick. Let me just see if it will. It seems to nail auto park when it has a curb on the side really well. It's a good thing there aren't any cars around though. This would be not the greatest parking job. At least not the first go at it. Perfect. Okay, let's see if I can get to auto park in the center here. This parking lot. These are not the greatest marked lines, so I'm not sure if it will. Oh, so it would not do this last time, right? I'm actually really happy. This means that it's picking up lines substantially better. Because before it would not. I tried my hardest to get it to detect these for parking in the middle of this parking lot, and it just wouldn't pick it up. Similar conditions too, right? So it was a little bit wet, and you know. I'm gonna look out here to make sure everything looks good. Yeah. Darn near perfect. Man, this stuff is getting good. See, it's displaying these now with like, oh, so now it looks like a little, I'll put the chevron on it. That's somewhat new. I've seen it before where it had the, just kind of a gray hump, but it didn't have the chevron on it. And now these are having the chevron. The orientation of these is not exactly showing up well. But wow, it is detecting them far off in the distance though. That's pretty impressive. So what about these? And it's picking these up too, right? It's not an autopilot, so it's not slowing down for any of these. I need to do the navigation up here. There are a lot of situations now that it's pretty easy for autopilot, or for full self-driving beta to do. And it's harder to find things that it can't do. I mean, I understand the stopping for yield signs. That makes a lot of sense. But I don't know who's honking at who. Maybe they're there hung at the fact this car started going to the right first. I do wish it hadn't done that, but it wasn't like there was any issue. I don't know. Yeah, everything's closed today, so it's a pretty mellow day, that's for sure. Still pretty busy though. A lot of people driving around. So I wish it didn't do that. It like slowed down for that car who was pulling out of the lane. I don't know what I was talking about. I don't know. Just still a little bit last section here. All in all, I've been very, very, very impressed with this latest build of FSD Beta. Man, it's handling all sorts of things that it didn't handle before, and it is just getting better with every single release. Yeah, it's shockingly good. And you just kind of wonder where it's going to be able to, how far will it be able to go? All right. See, again, it's going too fast in these neighborhoods. Ooh. For some reason. See, these are the weird things where you're like, really, this confuses you? It's like there's nothing in the way. At the same time, you know, it doesn't really matter all that much. That was my first drive, really, with full self-driving beta 10.8. Wow. It is really, really impressive. It's hard to put a finger on what all is changing or what is happening that's different. Just so much of it is really, really good. I'm just shocked. There's so few disengagements now. If you can let it take its time, it gets you there. And like I was saying earlier, I know there are some risks that people associate with this, and they think that this strategy is a poor one. I think the proof is in the pudding here. People kind of discount real world testing, and they say, oh, well, you know, you can do a lot of that in simulation, you can do a lot of that in shadow mode, you can do a lot of that in other modes. But the reality is that having people provide the feedback as true beta testers and actually releasing it into the wild and seeing what people do with it, there is no replacement for that. There are many situations that you would never ever think of happening that can really happen in the real world. And it's important for real world testing to happen. I have seen it myself with parts where we put a part, we ran it in simulation, improved it from simulation, we took it from simulation to a big shaker table. The shaker table found some things that are flaws, and we redesigned it after we put on the shaker table. Then we put on what we called reliability growth vehicles, which were a few vehicles that drove all the time 24/7, and they just kind of racked up miles in the real world. And then we also had vehicles that were driving over speed bumps all day long, right? So they're seeing real torture testing, right? I think it was like 1 mile was the equivalent of 100 of 100 freeway miles. So, you know, we saw things fail at each step of those testings. Those were great, but the reality was you couldn't get the volume you needed of units to see something that would be statistically hard to find. Whereas once we released our design out into the real world, we actually found things that we could not have predicted happening out in the real world. That is just a challenge that is really tough to solve. And particularly with full self-driving, I think you have to get it out there in the real world. Tesla could have hired an army of testers, but the problem is if they didn't get testers in every single specific environment with all different types of driving conditions, all different types of sign markings, all different types of lane markings, they could totally miss a whole bunch of things. And I think that's the problems that the other vendors of full self-driving systems are running into now, is that they may have one place really well mapped and they may have one area figured out, but when they go someplace else, they have to train a whole new set because the lane markings are different, or the stop signs are different, or, you know, the placement of the stop signs are a little different. They have different standards for everything. There are as many standards as there are cities. That is something that a true full self-driving system needs to be able to handle. I see that Tesla is certainly on the path to getting there. Tesla, you hit it out of the park with this one. I'm really, really happy. Can't wait to test the new version. And man, I think I only had like maybe 3-4 disengagements this whole time. That was with like a lot of driving in weird situations, right? It's crazy. Well, thank you for joining me on this drive. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. If you want to watch some of my other full self-driving videos, they're right here. If you want to watch some of my other videos with commentary on what Tesla's going to do next, you'll find them right there. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye.